Hello, this is Ken. I like making things. I like making things out of paper, and I like making things cooler. Especially my figures. Sometimes figures don't look all that screen accurate. All they need is a bit of touch up here and there to unleash their hidden potential. I also love using everyday tools and materials to recreate iconic scenes from my figures, so they can shine on my display. Subscribe to my channel and join my DIY adventure as I ask myself the same question every week. Can I make it? Last week, I recreated the most important character in the whole MCU, Kevin, so I could recreate the fourth wall breaking scene in She-Hulk's finale. I was so focused on recreating all the crucial elements of the scene and keeping the display at a reasonable size so I can fit it into my display cabinet, I forgot that the display is modular. There's nothing wrong with how it looks all put together, but it does look a bit crammed. After I finished the video last week, I realized I don't have to have the floor there. I can have Kevin on a single set of the screens by itself, which puts the focus solely on Kevin. Or, I can make the entire set as wide as possible, but without the floor. Look at that. The floor was actually closing off and shrinking the room visually due to the way the screens were positioned. Without the floor, I don't have to position the screens at 90 degrees. The set looks so much bigger as a result. And I can even include the Disney Plus home screen right in the middle too. It somehow meshes very well as one. I never intended these to be put together. The combined set doesn't look jarring at all. It just looks like one cohesive set. I hope more MCU characters get to see Kevin in the future, so I can include them into this display. Speaking of, this is what I had planned originally. I measured and made sure the entire diorama would fit into my display cabinet. This is the main reason why all my dioramas now have a maximum size limit, because I love how they look in my glass cabinets. I can still display this without the floor, but I'm not so sure. It just doesn't look as complete in my opinion. It looks like it's floating. It looks better like this on my desk, where there's a solid surface to ground She-Hulk. And with the diorama no longer restricted by a square base, it allows me to play with the formation. I like that I can strip it down and do a condensed version, to keep the focus on She-Hulk and Kevin. Or I can just include everything and make this the ultimate She-Hulk display. You know what? I just have another great idea. This will also make a great mini poster. I can combine the Disney Plus home screen and Kevin into one design, like this, but more 3D. It's gonna be made out of 3 layers: the background, the midground, and the frame. I design and mail these out to my top tier members on Patreon every month. These are actually one of my favorite things to make because I get to manipulate the photos I take and turn them into cool graphics. I do photo shoots with my figures at the end of all my videos, but I don't add any visual effects or overly edit my photos. I mostly only adjust the brightness and white balance. I did edit and add special effects to my photos when I first started this channel, like with these quantum suits, which were my very first customs. I wasn't 100% satisfied with the result, and felt like I needed to add more in post-production. I also added Wanda's Chaos Magic and removed the stand in post, but it didn't feel right. Not because I think it's wrong to edit the photos, but it's because my channel was going to be about me customizing my figures, and I want my photos to be accurate representation of my work and not be deceiving. But I love editing things on Photoshop, transforming boring images into interesting graphics. And because I couldn't do it for my videos, I needed another reason for me to scratch that creativity itch. And that's where the mini poster idea came from. The idea is to use the photos I take and edit them into some sort of miniature posters, but in 3D, because I love 3D things. I started making these last February. This one here is my very first one. Of course, starting with Iron Man. I give it a 7 out of 10. The background color is too similar to the suit, but not too bad for a first try. The next one is Peter Parker from No Way Home. It was inspired by the very sad raining scene. The colors pop a bit better here, 7.5 out of 10. Then I started playing around with the 3D elements a bit more, with this Captain America and Winter Soldier one. Relatively simple design, but very cool. Then Iron Spider. I love the shapes the spider legs were making, so I played with the diagonal elements to make it more dynamic. This one here is a 10 out of 10. Not because of Wanda, but because I feel like I successfully replicated that MCU poster look by only using photos taken by me, including the background. This Homecoming one was also very fun. I was playing with scale and adding in the water effect, and sticking with that yellow Homecoming color scheme. The Love and Thunder one is the first time I added the character onto the foreground onto the frame. I love the way I stacked these characters. Then a solo one with Quicksilver and his running effect. This was made before I made the Age of Ultron display, so in a way, this was a preview for that. Okay, I couldn't resist. I feel like I had to do this. There was no other choice. And of course, Scarlet Witch gets her own mini poster. It was a bit of a challenge getting her to pop against Wundagore. Black Panther crew gets one too. This was before I got the Shuri Black Panther figure, so I decided to focus on the first movie here. Ah, this Moon Knight one is epic. That blue is so gorgeous. The 3D effect worked best on Ant-Man and the Wasp. It is perfect for the Pym particles effect. It really looks like they're shrinking and growing. The Loki one is a beauty. That blue and orange are so pleasant to look at. And finally, this month's fourth wall breaking She-Hulk. When I first designed these, I knew I had to keep them small, because I want to be able to display as many of them as possible. But I wasn't thinking about how to display them exactly. Because they are made out of paper, they need something to lean on, otherwise... And this is where last week's video inspired me again. Out of the blue, I discovered that the back of this wooden board can fit 12 of my mini posters. That means I can fill one of these up every year, and I don't have to make it myself. Perfect. But I don't love the unpainted look of it, so I painted it black. This will also make the colorful mini posters pop more. Alright, here are the first 12 mini posters I made. And to secure them in place, I'm going to use magnets. I don't want to glue them down. It feels a bit too permanent. By using magnets, I can pop the mini posters out whenever I want. Let's do a test to see how it holds up. Ah, it's secured nicely. This is going better than I expected. Let me secure the other 3 at the corners. And let's do another test. Nope, they aren't going anywhere. And best of all, I can still pop them out with ease. Alright, I'm gonna attach the rest off camera. Be right back. Here it is, the first 12 of my mini posters framed. It is earthquake proofed. I can rearrange them to make them look more visually interesting, but I think I'm gonna keep them in the order they were released. What do you think of my mini posters? Do you have a favorite design of mine? Let me know down below. And here are the 3 most recent ones. They look a bit odd like that at the moment, but I can't wait to fill up the entire frame. If you'd like to support my channel and receive a mini poster every month, you can join my Patreon. Once in a while, I'll add a bonus item. For April, I'm going to include a quantum tunnel as a bonus item along with the mini poster. I love how the tunnel looked in my Ant-Man and the Wasp video. And it's one of the easiest things to build. No instructions needed in my opinion. I do have plans on releasing or selling my other paper stuff, but I need to create instruction manuals for them first, and fix some minor issues. Some of these issues make the folding and gluing process quite annoying to go through. And because everyone is different, I want to make sure if I do release anything, it is something that anyone at any skill level can build. Which is what I managed to achieve with the quantum tunnel. The tunnel itself may look complicated at first, but once you figure out the overall shape, Everything just folds and fits onto itself nicely. The box is super easy. Just gotta do the sides first. And then attach the back. And a tunnel will fit right in. That said, the perfectionist side of me also created this little piece here. This is completely optional, but this acts as a little platform for the tunnel to rest on, so the tunnel remains leveled. Just place it at the very back of the box and voila! The tunnel is now secured. All there's left is the front piece, and if I want, I can add the magnifying sheet in between the tunnel and the front piece for the extra warpy effect. But it actually looks perfectly fine without it too. It still looks like it's sucking you into the quantum realm. And it is just the right size for Marvel Legends in my opinion. It is not too big where it takes up too much shelf space, and just big enough for the figures to pose next to. Alright, today's video is a little bit different than usual. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a like and subscribe because I'm going to be doing the Guardians figures next. And there are a lot of them. Support me on Patreon too if you want. And most importantly, stay inspired and I'll see you next week. I can make it, so can you.